So this video is a bit about what happens on your driving test on the day. You've been practicing with your instructor. I'm sure he would have told you what to expect, but just in case you were ever curious, you're going to possibly have an hour before the driving test. Most instructors recommend that. It gives you time to practice, especially if you've not been in the car for a week. But it all depends on each person, because it could be that the pupil gets tired towards the end of the hour. So last thing you want to do is have an hour and then an hour an hour with a driving test. That could tire out quite a lot, so you might end up having half an hour. So you need to speak to your instructor and make a decision what's best for you on the day. Just say, for instance, you book your test for 10:14, and this is unusual because they work on usual times. So you get a 10:14 test, you got 11:11 test. That's the ones in Milton Keynes anyway. So if it's a 10:14 test, you might be picked up at 9:15, so you get an hour lesson before, in which case you could cover a couple of manoeuvres, a little bit of driving, just to kind of get rid of any cobwebs from the previous lesson. And then just not too difficult, just take it easy. Make sure you turn up with your driving license. You don't need your theory test certificate, just your driving license at this point. And if you've been changing your driving test a couple of times online, it might be a good idea to print off a receipt of the date and time of your driving test, because you'll be surprised how many people turn up for the driving test and either an hour late, or a day late, or a week late, or they've not actually booked it, they've not confirmed it. I've been sat in the test centre plenty of times with my pupil and gone out, and there's been a lad or a woman sat there, and the examiner comes out and it turns out they've actually missed the driving test by a week, or they've not actually booked it. And there's a funny story actually. I sat at a test centre, and the examiner calls this man out. So he comes to the centre of the desk where they sign the test sheet, and it says to the pupil, right, lead me to your car. And the pupil says, well, I've not got a car. I've paid £62 for the driving test. I thought you provide the car. So the examiner says, no, I'm just, the £62 is to actually assess your driving, not to provide a car. So that's it was funny at the time, but I'm sure the pupil wasn't very happy about it. But he did turn up on his own. So he turned up in a taxi, and then obviously got to get a taxi back home. So that was unusual. So yeah, you turn up possibly an hour before, so you have a lesson. When you arrive at a test centre, there's no point in going in 15 minutes early. That's too soon. You're going to be in the way of the previous test, and you'll probably see a sign saying not to turn up till 5 minutes before your test. And then you've got to park up. Now it could be you're going to reverse into a bay to start with, so you need to be able to do that. When you park up, go into the test centre office and waiting room, and just wait for your name to be called out. When they call your name out, you need to show them your driving licence, which they'll check, and they'll get you to sign the driving test sheet, which is this green sheet here. So you'll be signing, let me see, you'll be signing the top box here, just to say who you are, and the examiner's going to check your signature on the driving licence to compare the signature that you signed there and then. So that's quite normal. When you do go outside with the driving examiner, it's probably going to ask you, do you want your driving instructor sat in the back of the test, or your accompanying driver, if it's your husband, wife or relative who's there to come along. At that point, it's up to you whether you want them in the back of the test. I suggest you speak to whoever's been teaching you to talk about the advantages and disadvantages of that. If you don't want them in the back of the test, then they'll offer, would you like the instructor to come at the end of the test for the debrief? And that's a good idea, if they're not in the back of the test, to sit in the debrief, to listen to what the examiners tell them about the good bits that you've been doing and the bits that need to improve on, whether that's pass or fail. And then you walk outside the test centre, and you'll do your eyesight test, which they'll pick a car to read the reg plate number on, and then you're going to walk towards the car, and you'll be given, at that point, show me, tell me questions, which is 2 questions. One where you've got to show them the answer, another one where you've got to tell them the answer. And if you're ever wondering what they are, just check out my videos, and I'll put a link on this video to one of them at the same time. Then you'll sit in the car. Now it's quite normal for the examiner to walk around the car, checking that the tyres are okay, checking that there's nothing damaged on the back of the car. That's normal, so don't worry about that. Then they're going to get in the car, you'll be sat in the driver's seat there, they're going to sit in the passenger seat, and they'll ask you to explain the test to you, so they're going to tell you what's going to happen. So at this point they're going to say it's going to take 40 minutes to do the driving test. They'll expect you to drive ahead at all times, following the road signs and road directions. If they want you to go left or right, they're going to rush you. When they want you to pull over, they'll ask you to pull over. Sometimes they'll say pull over at a designated area, so they might tell you where to pull over. Sometimes they might say to you, can you pull over where it's convenient, safe and legal? So you need to be able to do that. So you don't want to be pulling over on WL lines. You don't want to pull over opposite a parked car, so you might block the road. And you don't want to pull over within 10 metres of a junction, because it's going to be difficult for people to get in and out. You're blocking the driving lines of people what they can see. And while you're also on the driving test, you're going to be asked to do a manoeuvre. Now the manoeuvre could start in the first minute. You might ask you to do a bay part, so you need to be prepared. I remember in the past I've spoke to people and they say to me, I didn't expect to get a manoeuvre in the first few minutes. I thought I'd be driving for about 20 minutes. So you could get a manoeuvre in the first minute, or it could be towards the end of the test. You don't know. So once they start the engine, you'll be on the test at that point there. Now when you do start moving off, don't start worrying if they're ticking the boxes at the top. They're just filling in the sheet, getting it all ready for the driving test. That's quite normal. And also, when you're driving, if you do make a fault and they record it on the driving sheet, the green driving sheet, don't worry about it, because you can't change what's been done. What you can do is listen to the debrief at the end, and they'll explain why they've marked it. So if they do give you a reminder for not checking your left mirror and you're turning left, it's gone. You can't change what's happened, but what you can do is make sure next time you do it safely. Okay, because at the end of the day, you're telling the examiner, that's why you turn up, that you can drive safely. So they're expecting that. So you're paying them for 40 minutes of driving to be marked at. So just expect them to watch what you're up to, you know, watch what your feet are up to, watch what your eyes are up to, you know, and just try and enjoy the drive best you can. When you are driving along, they are going to pull you over to the manoeuvre. I mentioned it a few minutes ago. It could be at the beginning, it could be after the test, it could be towards the end of the test. So you're either going to get bay park, turning road, left reverse, or a parallel park, which is a reverse behind a parked car. They're not going to get you to reverse in between parked cars, well they don't in multi-means anyway. And they're also going to pull you over to do 10 minutes of independent driving, which is they can pull you over and they can say to you, right, I want you to move off, I want you to turn left onto the main road and then follow signs for, just say, Aylesbury. Or they could say to you, right, we're going to do 10 minutes of independent driving, we're going to move off, and I want you to follow these directions, which is at the end of the road turn left, at the end of the next road turn right, at the roundabout turn right, and then they'll pull you over and give you some more directions. So there's two ways of independent driving. But if you're not too sure, check out some of the videos on the YouTube channel, and I'm sure you're going to pick up some more tips. When you are driving along, just drive like normal. Don't take any silly chances, but at the same time, don't be overcautious. Just listen to what your instructor's been teaching you, because at the end of the day, he's teaching you the standards so that you can pass your test and drive on your own independently. When you do get back to the test centre at the end, secure the car and turn the engine off. Don't leave the handbrake off, otherwise you could roll. And the examiner will tell you within a minute whether you passed or failed. And at that point there, I would have thought your instructor would be sat in the back listening to the debrief. If you do fail, just work up a plan with your instructor of how you can work on the faults and improve on them and rebook your test. If you do pass, great. Get yourself sorted so you can drive on your own and drive safely. Good luck on the driving test. I'm hoping this bit of advice is going to help you to understand what's going to happen, and hope you pass first time. Take care.